Hi, I'm Don Haddad, Superintendent for the St. Vrain Valley Schools, and welcome back to Education Today. I'm glad that you could join us, and today we have two very special guests that I'm really excited about having you get an opportunity to meet. Mr. Chase McBride, who is our Executive Director of Athletics and Activities in the St. Vrain Valley School District, and Mr. Axel Reitzig, who is also an Executive Director and works closely with our Innovation Center and is the leader of our district-wide robotics program, which has been outstanding. So thanks both of you for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
You know, it's an interesting thing with schools. There's so many things going on, and we often talk about schools in terms of the academics, which are really, really important. And kids do a great job in the St. Vrain Valley schools with the core subject areas and graduation rates and all of those things. And at the same time, we also know that it's much more complicated and it's a much bigger picture, and there are many other things that our students are doing really well that cause them to have that, what we refer to as a strong competitive advantage. And so, you know, Chase, I'll start with you. You know, as the Executive Director of Athletics and Activities, that's a pretty big job. You've got a lot of people that you work with and a lot of programs. And you yourself in high school and college and even beyond were involved deeply, very successful athlete. So maybe introduce yourself, tell a little about yourself, and then also about the Athletics and Activities program in St. Vrain.
Yeah, Chase McBride. It's an honor to be here today, so thanks for having me. I grew up in the area, and I went and was able to play beyond high school at the University of Colorado and a little bit after that, but we take a lot of pride in our office in providing as many opportunities for our students as possible. And really when we look at our co-curriculars and our extracurriculars, it's about being a part of something bigger than yourself. And you know, there's numerous amount of studies that have been done across the country, across the state, what have you, that the more kids are involved in extracurriculars and co-curriculars, the better they do with their academic side of developing the whole person as well. But you know, there's so many life lessons that we're able to teach through activities and athletics. You know, how to overcome adversity. You know, how to work as a team, and you know, and just balancing your life and personal schedule. So we take a lot of pride in providing opportunities for our students, and you know, really within our department, we take great pride in setting the culture for a building and a town. And again, it's just about being a part of something bigger than yourself, and we're happy that we're able to provide so many opportunities for our students.
Well, you know, I'm always very proud of the St. Vrain Valley School students and teachers and staff and coaches, but I know that over the last several years you've had a really large number of state champions, individual and regional champions and district champions and all of the team championships. And then in the music arena, been recognized. I'm getting ready to go down to Buell Theater this weekend to see the middle school all-state choir students. Had more students selected than any other school district. And down at the Colorado Music Education Awards and Association, you see all of the St. Vrain folks there. It's pretty impressive. And the arts, you know, I know the district art show is going to be right around the corner, but you know, you got to be really proud of that too.
Yeah, we are, and I can't state enough how proud we are of our students. But you know, it's deeper than that for us. We really focus very deeply on providing them with the correct mentorship and getting the coaches and the directors and the teachers working with our students that can be so impactful. Those are relationships that are lifelong. You know, coaches that show up at your wedding or the first time you have a child of your own and things like that. And you know, some of the greatest turnaround that we see in our department is when students develop a great relationship with a director and they themselves become a music teacher, or athletes that come back and become assistant coaches for the coaches that they played for. So there's such a wide range of achievements there, but that's really what it's about. It's developing yourself as a whole person and just providing opportunities that will set you up with the skill set to be successful in the rest of your life.
Yeah, it's a preparation for life, for sure.
You know, I wake up in the morning and I got the best job in the world. I get out of bed and I know I get to do what I love most. You know, as far as a job is concerned, it doesn't become a job because you love doing it. It is repetitive. You know, I've caught myself doing the same thing over and over and over, and I don't know how many times through 29 years as the head coach where I've turned the lights on, I've opened up a specific door. The thing that I've learned is the value of the wall that is at Longmont High School, because I'll walk down that wall and I'll just see past players and past students and just the history of Longmont High School and Longmont in general. And you know, to be able to repeat that and just have memories that come to you because so many young men and young ladies that you've had in class and on the basketball floor or in another coaching environment, you know, it brings back memories that you just look at over and over, and it's just a true blessing. Nice base, good base. Game shots, game spots, game speed. I'm proud of the individuals on where we take them from day one all the way to the last day of the season, and to see their growth, to see their mindset as far as how the team has to be the number one thing. It's that big team, little me mentality. And you know, just to see team growth every year to me is really, really special. Okay.
If I set it here, does it matter if I go like this?
What I love is the drop step, because you pin them with your hip. You know, some coaches will do the step through, okay? Whatever you want to use to be able to pin the opponent, I'm okay with. First of all, I want them to be good human beings. I want them to be able to treat other people with respect. I want them to come away knowing that they've got to be able to risk, or they're willing to get out of their comfort zone. I want them to have a great work ethic. We don't want more than one at the end of the first quarter. If we have more than one at the first quarter, we're playing scared now. We don't play scared. We play smart. We do things the right way. You know, when you learn those core values, I think you become really, really successful in life. Charge on three, 1, 2, 3.
Let's go.
And to see that first team go all the way to the Final Four that very first year and lose it. We lost in overtime in the semifinals, but they set the foundation. You know, I look at the teams that went 23-0 and got beat at the buzzer on a Hail Mary shot. And then I look at all the teams that have gone to the Final Four. You know, our program being able to win 500 ball games. It's just, I could not fathom when I started this job with all of the things that just have happened within the program. To be able to coach my son for 4 years, you know, not many fathers can say that.
I chose to teach and coach because one, I had some unbelievable teachers and some unbelievable coaches growing up, and number one, that was my dad. He led by example, It looked like every day he woke up with a smile on his face. It didn't look like he was going into work, going into a job. It looked like he was going to have fun and he was going to impact kids. And he was definitely, there were some days where he was a hard coach and sometimes the biggest critic. And what I had to pick up on now is he would keep you accountable. And the people in your life that keep you the most accountable, they love you the most and they want to see you succeed. Probably my favorite moment and the moment that stands out the most is the last game that we got to play, that I played for him. It was kind of getting ugly, and we were down 8, 15 seconds left, and they were shooting free throws, and I just got to walk over to him and tell him how much it meant to be able to play for him. But the role now, I kind of get to see the bigger picture and see how he really works and the things behind the scenes that maybe I didn't realize. Just how hardworking he is. He's by far the hardest worker I've ever met in my life, and he'll get anything done, and he's extremely passionate about that, and that I admire that about him. It's inspiring.
Okay? Got to communicate. That's the key. Go ahead,
Hey,
Coach.
move together. Move off the release. Just jump to the ball. Be active. Tips away.
Be great technicians. Here we go. And then probably the 2018 team. That was the team that was all in. That was the team that no one thought would go to the Final Four.
They were all in, and for each other, for him. It was my first year coaching, and it was a new group that a lot of people didn't have expectations for. Their will to win was just unbelievable, and that was such a special year.
And then we go against Lewis Palmer, and we beat Lewis Palmer for the state championship in 2018. And to have my son next to my side, there wasn't anything better. Speed game when it's there, shooters to the corner, chin to your inside shoulder. Diagonal cutters, make sure that we cut. Show your hands, show your hands. Stop the ball early on defense, no freebies, match up, quick scramble. Doesn't matter who we're guarding. We got that mindset. That's our mentality. We don't care. Sense of urgency. Play hard. Play hard for 32 minutes. Energy, let's fly around again. Coach K just said, hey, last game of the tournament, big statement here, right now. Right now. Make it fun. Make it fun. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Here we go.
Number 2, Cole.
Let's go, Cole.
You don't play hard. I've got four or five guys in one play. You ready to get after it?
Yes, let's go. First 4.
We know how they're going to call the game now. Make sure that the hands are away. Make sure that we do a great job seeing ball and man. No flash. Okay, we're not going to have our face taken away. Make sure that we don't get a back cut. Let's play
start on the
hard.
run.
Make sure that we play Trojan basketball all the way through. Most important thing is go have fun. Go have fun.
Start
Let's
on a
go.
run.
Let's
So,
finish.
1,
Start
2,
to the
3.
stop.
For us to take a step up the ladder, we have to control defensive boards. Okay, we can't give a team as many offensive rebounds as we've given today. That's on us. That's on us. You either fix it or you don't. Make that choice. Let's go. This is a time when we come together as a team. Here we go. Dang it.
Good shot. Let's go. Fine.
Let's go. That's how you make it better. Bring it on. Coach Cade.
I think you might need a little help with that.
Holy cow.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Holy cow. Wow. Wow. You guys are going to talk a minute. Oh my goodness gracious.
Thank you guys for being here.
Love you
So good to see you guys.
Love you. These are some of my favorite ball players. Love you. Good to see you. Love you. Love you guys. Love you. Coops. Love you. Love you. Good to see you. Thank you. I tell you what. Good to see you. Oh man.
I'm glad to be here for you.
He's in the first class, first Final Four.
How are you?
History. There's a lot to this program. We've always demanded, we've had a high expectation. These guys know it. The high expectation has always been to be the best. What are you going to do as an individual to make that happen? Get out of your comfort zone. Get out of your comfort zone. Embrace being coached. Embrace the fact that, by goodness gracious, we can be the very best. We can be the very best. Everything we teach with a life purpose. These life lessons, you ask them, they're applying them right now. Bottom line is, it's more than basketball. It's all about life. We're going to get after you, but we're going to love you at the same time. And that's the thing that you got to realize. Having guys like this come back into the gym, all it does, it makes me tear up. Because all of a sudden I look and I see a memory. Memories are what we hold on to. This year is going to be a memory for me. What you do with it is up to us. Us as a group. Coming together. Playing with that fist mentality. The big team, little me. That's been our mantra forever and ever and ever. And it was started with Coach Dill and that very first group. That very first group, no one expected us to get to the Final Four. But they set the foundation and then we ran with it. And every year from that point on, it's been, all right, this is Trojan basketball. We believe, let's get it done. Right here. Come on in, guys. Here we go. Trojans on three. 1, 2, 3.
And Axel, you know, I have known you for a long time. I remember when I first met you way back when you were at Trail Ridge. And you did a great job there, and you've been doing a great job ever since. But you have, you've carved out something pretty impressive with the robotics program here. I think you've got, give or take, 216 teams now. And you've got all kinds of success stories. But back to what Chase was saying, more importantly, so many students are involved. And so maybe tell us a little bit about yourself and then also your leadership and your involvement in developing a great program.
Well, thank you for having me on today, and really enjoyed listening to what Chase shared. And there's a lot of parallels between what we've learned through robotics and the opportunities it provides students. For me, I was a language arts teacher when I came to St. Vrain, so that I'm doing robotics now is always pretty amusing to me too. But I became a librarian, started doing instructional technology, and through that got introduced to STEM, and that's how I got introduced to robotics. And once I had that experience, I just saw how powerful robotics was to help us achieve a lot of what we wanted to do in education, like self-directed learning and collaboration, authentic learning, relevancy, all those kinds of things too. And I think that's what's really fueled the growth of this program. So really, we started about 10 years ago, building this as a district-wide program. And we focus on VEX robotics as a district primarily. And we started, I don't know, it was a couple schools and maybe 30 teams 10 years ago. And this year we have, I think, over about 214 or 15 competitive teams, elementary through high school. And that's probably about 900 kids, which I like to think of like we've made a robotics school. That's kind of neat to think about it that way. And a lot of what I hear from parents and students is, a lot of these kids aren't necessarily athletes, or they're not doing music, so they haven't had a chance to do something competitive. They haven't had a chance to be in a team and collaborate. So robotics is meeting the needs of a particular group of students that we maybe haven't met those needs before or previous to this. It definitely builds the whole person for these students. They have to work with other students, and that's probably the biggest area of growth for the kids. When I talk with them and I ask them, like, what's the hardest thing or the most important thing you've learned from being on this robotics team, they almost always say, oh, I had to work out problems with other teammates and things like that too. I think the relevancy of robotics is also really powerful, because so much of the skills that they're learning, so that could be design and engineering, could be coding, documentation, those kinds of things, those are really relevant to a lot of careers that are out there that, there are a lot of jobs and really good jobs. So those jobs aren't necessarily for every student, but it is really good career preparation. And having that vertical alignment from elementary to middle school to high school, kids who really get involved, they do this for 6, 7, 8 years, and they become extremely proficient and skilled at being roboticists. So that makes it easy for, let's say, the program we do here at the Innovation Center, or maybe at the Career Enrichment and Technology Center that offer programs like robotics or advanced manufacturing. Those kids then can gravitate towards those opportunities and really use that as a springboard to meaningful careers. There's a lot of creativity that's involved too. I think the authentic nature of robotics is really appealing. It's a lot like, again, I would say sports or music. The kids really have ownership of their experience, and it's really means something to them too. So they really develop passion, and so they're highly committed. They really want to put their whole heart and all their effort into being successful. And while we love, and we have been very successful. I mean, every year over these 10 years, we've had teams qualify to go to the World Championships. Last year we had 24 go. This year we've already had, I think 17 teams qualify. And that's just, we've already only done one of the 2 state championship rounds. So that's a really meaningful opportunity for them too. But kids who don't even qualify necessarily for that or for state, they still, by virtue of competing against others, they're competing against themselves. And so that focus on excellence that we have in the district really has a chance to be emphasized or elevated with this experience. And I think the last thing maybe I'd like to share on this is that global component to it. So, you talk all the time and you want us all to have our students graduate with that competitive advantage, and it has to be on the global stage, because that's just the nature of our economy and our world. So when our kids do go to the World Championships, that's actually pretty meaningful. And there's nothing, I think, more fun to see a group of elementary kids from St. Vrain who have to figure out before a match what the strategy will be with a partner team from China, for example. And we don't know Chinese, they don't know English, and they're sitting there scribbling things on a whiteboard. That's a really special experience for them too. So robotics has really provided us with a lot. It's given us a lot of bang for the buck.
St. Vrain Nation, welcome to the VEX Robotics 2022 World Championships. My name is Tim Garcia, and in St. Vrain Valley Schools, I am fortunate, blessed. I serve as the principal for Red Hawk Elementary School in Erie. But really, really blessed by the fact that 5 years ago when I showed up at St. Vrain, I was introduced to robotics. And one of the things that I love about robotics is it allows these students to come in and innovate and create and engineer and make those mistakes and then come back to it and revise and rebuild and retest. And so with VEX Robotics, I fell in love with it immediately. When I was introduced to it my first year as a principal, I fell in love with it immediately and just wanted to figure out a way that I could serve and support our students and make it a really meaningful and fun experience for them. So since in that first year, I jumped in as an MC and started emceeing events. Since then, I've emceed our state championships, various competitions across the state. And back in 1920, I was invited to Louisville, Kentucky to do the World Championships for VEX Robotics and RAC. So that's what I'm doing here. Got invited back to do this, and just really fortunate that we exist in a school system that when we say all kids, we mean all kids. That we see value in allowing us to go out and do this, like have our impact reach even farther than just our students in St. Vrain.
All right, I think we're ready to go. Looks like the head referee says we're go. All right, drivers, you know what that means. In 3, 2, 1, let's go. All right, just like that, both of these bots are off and running. It looks like both bots are looking to clear that corral and moving those balls into scoring position. On the near side, they have all but one out of that corral. Looking on the far side, they have all of the balls out.
I'm Jamie Nesbitt, and I'm the Soaring Heights PK8 robotics coach and the media specialist. We have a lot of teams. We have 22 teams that we registered this season, and we brought 10 of them here to the VEX World Championships in Dallas. Certainly. I think one of my favorite things is watching the kids' faces when they first walk into the building. Their eyes are huge. They have no idea of the grand scale of this thing. And you just feel so much excitement from them, and it's really a pretty cool experience.
I'm Texas, and I'm in 8th grade.
I'm Carter, and I'm in 7th grade.
I'm Antonia, and I'm in 8th grade, and we are the Lions Hydras.
I think the world experience is awesome, and my mom has told me several times that even if we don't win worlds, which I don't think will happen, but I'm not going to jinx anything, I think it's awesome that we made it here. And when I first got here, I think we were all a little bit overwhelmed, but I think we're all amazed that we made it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, at Red Hawk, and I even know system-wide, we talk about global impact. We talk about giving our kids a strong competitive advantage on the global setting and the global level. And what this does is we can send kids to all of these state events and all of these local events all year long. But what this does is this truly walks that talk. One of the things, the feedback that I've received from our students who are here through the middle school and elementary with the VEX IQ is the people they're meeting from all around the world. Just watching the parade of countries at the very beginning and the opening ceremonies, they're standing next to kids from other countries who they would never have the opportunity to meet. They're doing the things that we really value. They're networking, they're interacting, they're exchanging information. And so these could be lifelong connections that they make, but really what it does is it really brings true that global impact. This brings a global perspective to our students and gets them to realize that when we talk global, we mean it.
So VEX Worlds is the best of the best, right? You have every team that's here won their state championship or they won the regional tournament. And so you look around and all the robots are great. And you'll see everything from the most basic robot that can push game elements to the most sophisticated robot you'll see. And they're all competing together and the kids are all working together. And what makes Worlds really cool is that they're from everywhere in the world. We get to know our small community of robotics teams in Colorado, but when you get here, nobody knows anybody. And so the kids are out in the pit area, they're getting to meet kids from other parts of the world, different countries. We had some alliances from Japan and Australia and Colombia, and it's really exciting to watch the kids interact. Whether or not the kids can speak English, they have the robot to be that common language. They're on the field together, they're strategizing, they're coming up with plans on the fly, and when they're faced with these challenges in the middle of the match, it's just so cool to watch them pivot, change their strategy, and really persevere through those tough situations.
I would say probably just like getting to work with different teams from different countries, and like sometimes like it's hard to communicate, but it always gets through. And like we had a team that was our last qualifying match, and they were really nice, and like we didn't talk a lot because they were from Mexico and we don't know any Spanish, and so but like they helped us hang and we didn't know how to hang before that, but it was a really fun and cool experience.
Yes, I think it's cool that we've already worked with a team from Canada and a team from Mexico. I think that's just fun working with all the other people and going to the booths and such.
McBride here getting one up as well with 12 seconds remaining. There's 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, base. 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, base. They got 3, 4, 5 balls on their robot. They're going to keep them right up in that top ball into.
There's a lot of ups and downs here at Worlds. There's some things that will go really well for you, and there's some things that don't go the way that you expected.
We started off with the Fling Bot, which was the hero bot for this year, and then we kind of modified that so we could fling 2 at a time instead of 1. And then before States, we tried to build a new robot, but it didn't really work out. And then after States, we were like, we need to get a new robot. So here we have our new robot.
It's been really great to watch our teams from St. Vrain. They've had really positive attitudes. They've taken these all as learning experiences, and I hope they carry all those forward with them in the future. For me, my biggest hope for doing robotics is to build some confidence in the kids and to inspire them to see themselves as engineers, right? To see themselves as a roboticist or a computer programmer. We have a really cool feeder system where the kids can go off to high school and sign up to do an engineering program or an aerospace program. And if they walk away from their middle school robotics program seeing themselves as an engineer and wanting to sign up for those classes and take the risk of being in those types of roles, I think that we did our job.
It's pretty cool. Seeing all the people there and seeing all the from all the different countries, it's pretty cool that we all got here, so it feels pretty great.
I think the joy of being on the team is, being with a team. I haven't really been great with peers, but I think this has made it a lot better too. Everyone really. But anyway, I think it's the joy of robotics is building this, having fun, and getting smarter at the same time.
I would probably, I'm the main coder on the team, and that's a lot of fun for me, but I also like driving and just like seeing what we can do with the robot, so yeah.
Yes, I'm the engineer on the team. I mostly built the robot, so building the robot is the most fun part for me. It's gone really well. We've gotten quite a few points, and it's looking pretty good.
It's a good robot.
I I tell them how stressful and amazing this has been.
Yeah, I think the biggest hope that I have for our kids is first and foremost, it was a positive experience. That's my goal of being here, that every student that I'm going to have contact with while I'm here, I'm going to give them some sort of a positive impact that when they leave here, they're going to have a good memory of, wow, you know what, Worlds, Vex Worlds, that was a lot of fun, and they're excited to do it again. But even more importantly, they're excited to now have that growth mindset of they didn't realize, much as you said, this for a lot of the kids here, this is their first time here. They didn't realize that this was possible. And if there's anything in education that's important, it's letting our kids realize that there are possibilities beyond their imagination out there, and that's what this does. So that's really my biggest takeaway is I hope these kids really leave here and they start thinking about anything is possible. I just competed truly with a world competition with other students from around the globe.
You know, something you guys have in common, over the years, you'd always go to a Saturday event, whether it was a football game or a basketball game or a choir concert or a band orchestra, art show, and now Saturdays in St. Vrain, you can pick your location and go to a full-blown robotics tournament where you see all the parents and all the kids and then representatives from the business community and the corporate sector who are sponsoring. And it really is pretty amazing. It almost has extended our school day and our school year and our school week, I guess I should say, to 6 days a week, because in St. Vrain, there's always tons of stuff going on. I don't know if you want to share a little bit about what's happening now, but
I'm glad you brought that up. For one, you taught me this a number of years ago, but we were able to look at a number of communities. We would go to an event together, be it a game or a concert or what have you, and you can tell the health of a school by just the environment that they're at. If the stands are full, if there's no places if there's nowhere to park in the parking lot, or the district art show, we had record numbers last year where we had 10,000 pieces, and the line was so long that the time we had allotted at the fairgrounds, people didn't get in. And, so those are fun problems to fix, because that's such a telling sign of the health of a community and the health of a building. So I mean, we're always looking for those. Those are fun problems to fix. How to find more parking places, how to get more kids involved. Those are fun problems to fix.
That's right. No limits. We want them all. In your time here, some of the projects you have just recently added, I know a while back, boys lacrosse, but recently girls lacrosse in our system. And then you also just getting ready our first boys volleyball game, in addition to all the other sports. And then also, and I know in a number of our schools, we have a number of additional music programs that you see throughout, and then the growth of the art programs, all of that kind of stuff, the building of a new swimming pool, an aquatic center for St. Vrain. And then most recently, you've been working on getting turf put in at all of our comprehensive high schools and lights, and then we'll close that project out with bleachers so that all 8 of our comprehensive high schools, and obviously one will be building in the next bond, will all have their own stadiums. And those are just a few things that really speak to you are never satisfied with the status quo. You're always pushing the envelope.
Yeah, I mean, it's really for the kids and it's for our community. But we want to look at every event that we host as not a singular event, but rather an event that encompasses the whole community and as many groups as we can get involved. For example, at a Friday night football game, so many people see that as a football event. Well, we see that as an opportunity for cheer and dance to perform, and for marching band to have their time under the lights. And we bring down a group, be it robotics or a department within the building, an English department, to honor them between the first and second quarters. And then, at halftime, we have a few-minute segment for a youth group to get introduced and run around out there. We try to maximize our events with as many of our programs as possible, because again, that builds to the health of the community and the health of the school, which in turn leads to more success in the classroom as well.
Yeah, I remember years ago, I did a a research project and involved CHASA, the Colorado High School Athletics and Activities Association, and the correlation between higher graduation rates and students who are participating in these programs, lower dropout rates, higher attendance rates, higher grade point averages, all of the things that we try to encourage our students to achieve. You see that tight correlation. When you're involved, when you're participating, all of those things increase significantly. And so,
yeah, 100%. But that goes to the whole system. I mean, it's you and it's our Board of Education that gives us the support and gives us the finances and the resources needed to build these programs out. There are certainly people that don't have the leadership that you obtain for our district or leadership that our school board obtains to help give us these opportunities and to help us put these in front of kids. So we certainly appreciate that from our department, but it's tenfold. We're just investing into our future, and I don't think that every school district gets that opportunity. So we're very grateful for you and for our school board to help provide these opportunities as well.
well, I appreciate that. I'm very grateful for you guys, and I'm also very grateful to our community who has provided tremendous, unprecedented support for us to do these things from not only a financial perspective, but also just cheering us on and filling up the stadiums and the gymnasiums. You know, Axel, I'll tell you, it's the same thing where you're concerned. You know, we're in this space right now where technology is advancing just at warp speed, and the exponential growth that happens. And we've been in recent conversations about some of the most recent advanced technologies. And so when you have an opportunity as a student, as a child in, you know, kindergarten and first grade, to become very comfortable with robotics and with technology and all of the teamwork that goes with it, and the pressure because you're under a time limit, and, you know, overcoming the adversity and everything. These are skills that are going to carry these kids to some pretty amazing places when they graduate.
Yeah, I think that's definitely true. You know, I've seen like kids as young as second and third grade, and they're getting up in front of hundreds of people to perform and compete. And like you said, there's a time limit. And, you know, I think back, it's like, could I have done that at their age? And, you know, the very first time I went to Worlds, we had an elementary group. And when they went to the arena area, it was probably like a 6,000 or 7,000 capacity sports arena, and they had all the fields in the middle, and there's probably like 5,000, 6,000 people in there just screaming, and lights and music and things too. And you know, that I remember thinking about them, that this is something. I was amazed they could go in there and not panic, and you know, they did fine. The interesting thing I think with the technology is we don't know in a year from now what's going to be coming. So it's less about learning the technology itself, and it's more about learning to learn. I think it's about confidence, having that agile mindset, you know, being able to think outside of the box, and that's really a lot where innovation comes from. Relying on others, you know, a good team. You have a diverse group of students who think differently and have different, you know, experiences and backgrounds, and they learn to communicate. Another thing too, which I think reflects our community and our district and your leadership, is just how it's important to have a unifying vision, right? And I think as you were talking, it made me think of just the importance of purpose. And so the reason I think the things we're involved with are so meaningful or powerful is because they're purposeful for the students. And when anyone has a purpose, that's really a vision they have for themselves. And I think it's really hard to stop anyone from being successful when they have that. So robotics is just a different flavor of, I think, what's been happening, you know, under Chase's leadership in the district for many years. And you were a coach yourself, and, you know, we've all been athletes or musicians or, you know, something like that too. So it's just, it's been fun to be part of this experience of bringing a new kind of opportunity in that just is kind of unique. And I just, you know, it is special to our district. I have a lot of conversations with people outside of the district when we go to tournaments, and they'll say, well, why does our district not do this? And I said, well, you know, you can learn from our district, right? And, you know, you can do it. You have to be a strong system. You have to have clear leadership. The fact that school board members are coming to all the events that we, that's really important and really gratifying to see when they do that.
Well, you also need to have a Chase and an Axel to be able to do it. A couple things you guys have really done remarkably well, among other things, is your unified sports program, your unified music program, and robotics, and all of the things that you're going to talk a little bit about, either one of you, because, when we talk about every child in St. Vrain, it really does mean every child, and you guys are doing some pretty amazing things in that arena.
Yeah, well, it's exciting. We're actually just coming off of our St. Vrain Unified Basketball League. We just had a round robin tournament where we had a half a day event at Skyline High School where all of our high schools, including Main Street, get to participate in the unified basketball program. But we also have unified bowling that we participate at the CHASA level. And in the spring we have Day of Champions, where it's they get a little bit of taste of a whole bunch of different events. That also comes with a dunk tank for their principals. And we've moved unified down to the unified basketball down to the middle schools as well. We're starting to dabble in unified basketball at the elementary schools, and I know Axel, he can talk more about it, is working on unified robotics. But we, also one thing that's been really moving in our community and something that's gained a ton of traction, that's really taken off, is our unified percussion programs. And it's, it just gives kids a chance to be a part of. Everybody's included. I mean, it's an inclusive environment for our students, and so they're from music to art to sports, where everybody gets an opportunity in our district.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's very true, and you've done the same thing with robotics. Now I saw the first unified robotics.
Well, we were looking to what's come before us as the model. So it's actually we first thought about trying it after seeing all the unified sports. But this is pre-COVID, so we were starting to plan, and of course that kind of slowed things down. But I really was gratified to see that our team could work with Laura Hess and her team from special education to make this first event happen. What's interesting about robotics is there is a particular connection to, let's say, students on the spectrum, particularly. And there's just, and computer science, like there's just something about the nature of that field that kind of works for students who are on the spectrum. And in a non-competitive space, we have what we call humanoid robots, these MISTI robots or social robots. And so we were able to work with Laura and her team a few years ago to implement a program in some of the focus programs across the district.
We should have brought a robot with us today.
Yeah, we'll have them present with us next time. But they took these robots into the classroom, and the teachers were using them with students who had various social, emotional kind of challenges. Probably the best success I like to share is there was one student who had been nonverbal for the whole year and started having verbal interactions with the robot, which is really, that's powerful. So this could be a transformative technology. So to connect what's happening with the competitions, right, those spaces which are really great spaces, to maybe non-competitive opportunities that are really transformative for the students who are receiving the services, but also the teachers and our student designers who are doing the work and creating the programs that get used. And one kind of neat advance of that program is we have students of our SWAT program who received services from special education while they're students in St. Vrain, are now developing those job interview skills for these robots, so students in our schools can practice how to interview with the social robots. So that's kind of a nice workforce opportunity for those kids, and addresses some needs and concerns that Laura has around getting kids who have disabilities into meaningful workforce pathways.
Yeah. Well, in closing, we've just, I know you've just finished winning the state championships at the middle level and the high school level. I think what I remember reading is 4 out of 4 of the finalists were St. Vrain middle schools, and 3 out of 4 were at the high school. And you qualified a whole host of kids for the world, and you got another tournament coming up this next week at Soaring Heights, I think. So that'll be fun to see, and planning to go. Be over 60 teams, and you guys just finished, I think we had 32 wrestlers qualify for the state, and 6 made it to the finals, and 3 champions, and just a whole host of things with our basketball teams. They're just finishing up. Frederick's in the Final Four, and we had some great performances by our swimmers, and starting the spring season now, and there's just a lot of excitement, a lot of energy. So thank you to both of you, and anything you want to say in closing, feel free, but I just really am grateful to both of you for what you've done for our students and our community.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I don't want to speak for Axel, but I'm again, I just want to echo the support of our community, support from you, and support from our school board. We have grand ideas, but if people aren't behind us to help us either A, fund them, or B, to help make them happen, then there are opportunities that our students are missing. And we have the luxury of having that support here, so we certainly thank you for your support. And any other opportunities we can provide for our kids, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's hard to beat what Chase just said. I think community really is a foundation to the success of the robotics program, and so many parents and siblings and business community members and school board members have been involved with hosting and running these events and supporting the teams. And I think, again, I look at our district the same way our kids probably look at their robot, right? Because the robot has all these different subsystems that they have to be engineered well, and they have to work together well, and you got to tend to it. It's the same way I think our district works and our community works, that we have to, we couldn't have done this without warehouse support or finance and curriculum. So all the other people in the district who don't get the visibility that maybe we get because they're doing the behind the scenes work, that's a really big part of it. So thank you for having us
Yeah,
today.
you bet. Thanks to both of you. You're both superstars, and very proud of both of you. And I really appreciate you taking time to join us and have a chance to meet both Chase and Axel and learn a little bit more about the programs here. And hopefully you'll be able to share some of this information with your friends and your family. And then we'll look forward to seeing you the next time at Education Today. And until then, have a great day. Take care.